Welcome back to Clockwise Thoughts. I'm Scout, and this, of course, is Black.
Hey everybody.
And this week, of course, you have two full shows, but this is part three of the mini series Black Entrepreneurs. Today, of course, we've been talking. Basically, we was gearing up for everyone to know about Mr. Maverick Carter, or AKA Mav Carter, which, by the way, Maverick is his legal name, no middle name, and yes.
That's actually what his mama named him.
Yes. So we're going to dig a little deep into Mr. Carter, because a lot of people say he's a mystery, even if you try to look up such things as his birth date on the internet. It just says birth year of 1980. No month, no day, just birth year 1980. And a lot of people, even though he's on a lot of these shows like The Shop, for instance, and people has labeled him LeBron's guy, what do we really know about Mr. Maverick Carter? So, Black, what type of little information did you find out about Mr. Carter?
Well, like you said, I don't think anybody is really able to find a birthday, because I sure didn't find one. I did find that birth year, but I couldn't find the birthday. But well, I mean, first off, he grew up in Akron. I spent some time in Atlanta, so you know what I mean. There's the childhood. There's a childhood connection to LeBron, which I did not find out until extremely recently. Yeah, he is older than LeBron, but I could see how that would work. You know what I mean? I could definitely see how that would work. But I found his mother was a social worker, so we're talking. I didn't find any siblings. Now I'll say that I didn't find any siblings, so I'm not sure how the family dynamic went in that situation, because I believe the father was arrested or incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess to a degree you can say he comes from a single parent home. To a degree, pretty successful for coming from a single parent household. I'll say that. But yeah, he's like you said, he's LeBron's guy. The crazy thing about it is he's not like some kind of a hanger on or anything like that. He had his own merits. He used to play D1 ball. I didn't know that. Played at Western Michigan. You know what I mean? He actually had talent to go to college, which is interesting because he actually went to do something LeBron didn't do. And LeBron's a bigger name.
Right, yeah. A lot of people probably wouldn't know that little bit of gem.
That's what I'm saying. You would think, because the line basically is LeBron empowered the people around him, so it kind of makes it seem like, hey, LeBron walked into his house like, you my friend from way back in the day, get off the couch, I'm gonna send you to school and blah blah blah. When realistically, nah, you already went to school off on your own too. You know what I mean? He did play at St. Vincent. He played at St. Vincent, St. Mary. Now I believe LeBron turned 36 this year. Is it 36? 36 or 37?
Yeah, he was born in 84, so 36, yeah.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then Mav is either 4 to 4.5 years older than LeBron.
Yeah, he's 40.
So yeah, if he played at St. Vincent, St. Mary, if we're going by that metric, he was probably a senior, LeBron's freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I would say to that degree, he's pretty much already established himself at the school, hence that's why he was able to go play D1 ball. But it was just interesting because it was like, okay, here's somebody who, it's a little bit mysterious, but it's like, hey, wait a minute. Well, if you could go play college ball, then why didn't you? I'm not saying the decisions that you made were a bad decision, but it's just interesting to find out, hey, because were you injured? What happened? Because it was really kind of hard to find out. And it seems like he just made a life change. You know what I mean?
Well, what I found out is this. Like how you said, he was at Western Michigan playing basketball, D1. He started a few games and everything else. And then he had the luck of meeting one of his mentors that actually worked for Nike. And long story short, Mr. Carter was just asking him a whole bunch of questions, like how the process of how Nike went, because he loves stories and everything else. And he loved
We'll
how
talk about
Nike,
you're talking about Lynn Merritt.
right, and how each one of the stories came, how Nike was, did their athletes and told a story. And that led into an internship.
With Nike.
And yeah, and it's so funny. It's like how you said, everyone thought LeBron what he does, he empowers the people around him, but it was more like how you said, Maverick had already punched his own ticket. He was
Yeah.
already playing D1 ball. He was already being a starter as a freshman. And then this one life thing happened to where he met this representative from Nike and was like, hold on, hold on. Even though I'm playing ball and I'm doing good, it's only what is it to make it to the pros? 3% chance. And then he made that decision then to go ahead and go to Nike, which if you look at it, it all played part in a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Because the way how I see it is this: if you already have somebody working at a company that's knowing the ins and outs,
Especially
and
somebody
you,
who likes to ask the questions, especially, somebody who's interested, who's eager to actually learn instead of just, kind of fit into the situation. But he's like, okay, how does this really work? Yeah, you
right,
got an inside man.
so you have an inside man, then you just bide your time. Because the way how I see it, okay, this by now, LeBron's buzz is picking up. You know, while Maverick is at college and then doing the intern at Nike, buzz of LeBron is steadily building. The whole phenomenons of buying his headbands and all these high school basketball games being sold out, and to get a ticket to come see a high school basketball game. Back then was even now it's still come on to see
Yeah.
certain athletes is off the chain. But for LeBron to see, hey, I know this guy. I was a freshman, but I know this guy. He's from the
Hmm.
same place where I'm from. Yo, and I'm getting ready to make a deal with them, or a deal's on the table, but you work for them. Huh. Okay. That means you should know what's going on.
Now
Let
I'm
me
gonna
know what's
use
going on.
my I'm
Yes.
gonna use my leverage. They want me to sign. So I can try and kind of like pencil in something where they put you on as well, and then because
Right.
you and I know each other, I know you'll be in a sense doing the reconnaissance for me. You'll be learning how this situation works, which I mean it is what happened. You know what I mean? That's what happened. You know,
Right. And
LeBron approaches Maverick Carter about being, his representation. It wasn't the other way around. And this was after the internship that Maverick Carter had with Nike.
right. So with that saying, you you've already started on your path to punch your own ticket. You decided to leave college or whatever else, and you're at Nike doing the internship. You're being a sponge both ways, learning and giving your input. Then he went back to Akron for college,
Hmm.
University of Akron. to study to study business of how this is. So you're already on your path. Then someone from the same area as you, same place, same high school, gives you a chance. Because when LeBron, when LeBron gave him a chance, Mav was not out of college yet. Was not.
He was 23.
But okay. Yeah, okay. You look at it. You get this good big break. And from that break, by doing the research, this is what I came up with, and I'm not for sure if you did or not. Maverick Carter's net worth from that decision to him to walk away from basketball, even though, like how he has said in multiple different interviews and stuff like that, he wanted to go pro, and he weighed his pros and cons about it. This man's net worth at the beginning of 2020 was already at 50 million and climbing. This is coming from him doing an internship at Nike and LeBron trusting his business sense. So if we gonna really say the meats and potatoes of it, his business sense and this way how he looks at things has gotten this man, and like how you say, the willing and the motivation to actually, you want to know more. He asked those questions. And what I found out, it wasn't only just him. Is just like how we have said, and we touched on it in the earlier video, LRMR, LeBron, Rich Paul, Maverick, Randy Mims. It's a four-headed monster. But even though Mr. Carter is the one part to where people look at as, okay, what all he do? He does a lot of the marketing, the entertainment side with the filmmaking, the TV producer. He does all of this.
Rich Paul takes care of the actual contract deals with the players and the players and the people that they represent, because I think they might be moving into even signing music as well, artists as well. But
yeah, because it is crazy. But if you look at it, and this has happened, Mav Carter has been rolling with LeBron as the early days of 2006. 14 years later.
Which would have been, so 2006, which would have meant he would have got out of high school 2003.
Hold on, he was born in 1980. He got out of high school.
LeBron was drafted in what, I think 03, 04?
Yep.
I think he might have been drafted in See, it's weird because he's not a full calendar year older than I am. He's almost a full calendar year. It's only short by like 2 weeks. So he would have probably graduated, I think, in 03. So, if they linked up in 06, we're talking about a year, we're talking about 2, maybe 3 years removed from high school. And we know LeBron got drafted coming out of high school.
Yep.
So we're talking about what, LeBron's maybe second, third year in the league, maybe?
Second, third, yeah. Because everyone know the original agent and everything else was LeBron's mother. We all know that's well documented. But the first major Stega type agent was Maverick Carter.
Mhm.
Handled a lot of that. Now, my thing is this. Okay, you look at Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter negotiated a deal with a biking company on LeBron's behalf to where,
Mhm.
because LeBron loves to ride bikes, is also well known.
It's good for
And
cardio, man. Low
right,
impact on your
and
knees.
it helps these so you can last. But his first real check from all of this was that bike deal, that which they own a part and a stake in, and it went from there. Just some of his accolades of what he's been quoted to say. He didn't graduate from college. He graduated from Nike. He worked hard at marketing for Nike, and the mistake, which he says that people all the time says that he's LeBron's guy. That he said they are more than just. He's just more than LeBron's guy. They look at it as a brotherhood. They don't judge it like that. And for him to be empowered, as what we've been saying, to go ahead and make major deals, his business
Oh,
savvy and everything else, especially just one of them, uh, a stake in Liverpool FC, helped LeBron do that. Spring Hill Entertainment, they got
hmm
that.
I think that's named after. I forgot what they said that was named after. It was like an apartment complex they used to live in.
Yep,
I
where
believe. I'm pretty
LeBron
sure.
lived in Spring Hill Apartments.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, this is the thing. But even with all of these accolades is documented, what boils down, Mr. Mav Carter? What's the pieces of it that's missing? Now,
Well, he seems to be more. He seems to be. I mean, the thing about it is he seems to be a man that's trying to. It's not. I'm trying to find the right way to say this, because making money is going to be making money is the 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 mission.
mm-hmm.
Making money, like I'm trying to I'm trying to make sure I put this properly. The goal for Maverick Carter seems to be, it's not about making money, but more like building value. You know what I
I'm,
mean?
gl- I'm
Where
glad you
when
said
you
that.
when you build, like as if you build value, then whatever you have, or whatever you're building value can be weighed, or can be, seen as money, or it can be seen as something else.
Right.
Whereas making money, what we're making money can be valuable, but the thing that allows you to make the money is the thing of real value. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure I say this properly, because I'm trying to word this properly. But he seems more like, Maverick Carter seems more along the lines of, to put it simply, give a man the fish he can eat for a day. Maverick Carter
Mm-hmm.
seems to be the kind of guy more concerned with learning how to fish,
Feed you for a lifetime.
and then taking that knowledge and doing something with it,
Right.
not just for himself, but to use that knowledge to make it work for him.
I recently watched something. I'm glad you brought up that point. Maverick sit down with Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Those two have the same similar mindset
That's a
of,
very interesting sit down.
oh yeah, because Magic, it's not, because Magic said this in the interview or in the talk that they was having. It's not that he wants to tell everyone no. He's looking for the deal that is worth his time and effort because he then did the groundwork. You know, he was down here at first.
Mm.
Then he went up here.
Well,
Then
remember,
he
Magic
changed the
Johnson's been
level up
doing
here
that for a
again.
while.
Oh
He's been
yeah,
doing.
but
He's been
Magic
doing.
Johnson been
He's
doing
been
it
in.
from the second year that he was in the NBA. Because the
That's what I'm
first
saying. He's
deal that
been
he
wheeling
ever
and
did
dealing.
was a radio station.
He's been
But
wheeling and dealing business since way back in the day.
oh yeah, so but you also got to think about it. Maverick Carter. You know, a lot of people say that his name from cards and everything else, which is true, comes from a Western. His grandmother helped name him. The way how this man sees it is knowledge is power. He does not want to be known as being rich. He wants to be known as two things: a person that invoked change and a legacy that meant value. That's why I said I like what you said. He said he wants a legacy to be known of value, that it mattered.
Yeah.
Something that he's doing that mattered. Just like the one company needing lots of dough,
Mm-hmm.
they got that. That got inspired from them. And what they want to do is to empower athletes that you're more than just an athlete.
Yeah.
You can use your platform and make sure your platform is stable.
Well,
Make
yeah,
sure your
without question.
platform is stable. Then use that platform. If you're a basketball player, use your basketball platform. If you're a football player, use your football player. Whatever platform you got, make sure it's stable. But then get your message across of how you see fit. And that's how he feels that he's trying to get back and to empower the next generation or the next part of the movement of tell your story, but you got to put the time in first. Make sure your stuff is legit of that type of platform and then go speak it in certain ways. And also, they look at it as they want to keep busting down that stereotype of a dumb athlete, you know,
Well,
or because they looked at it, and what he said in one interview was they have gotten fed up of down the road, you know, maybe say, God forbid, a major injury happened to you in your career, and you're about 4 or 5 years in. What have you did with your money to where you can't sustain a comfortable lifestyle? What did you do? Because it's been so many NBA All-Star Sports Hall of Famers, all this nonchalant stuff, actors, whatever else, that had blockbuster movies and all this extra stuff, but they gone broke.
well, I think if that's what they're trying to help empower is to make athletes a little bit more fiscally responsible. Maybe you could start with explaining that maybe we shouldn't look at sports as a way out more than a means to an end. Because at the end of the day, regardless if you're paid $10 to go, work at Walmart, or you're getting, 45,000 per game from a game check, technically you still have a job, right?
Right.
So if you have a job, but you don't manage your money, regardless of how much money you're making or how little money you're making, if you don't manage your paycheck properly, you will go broke. You will always
True.
live to a degree to 5 or 6 degrees above or below, and I say degrees, they're small in a sense, but degrees of above or below your means. We already know that's going to happen. So just being
Yes.
smarter, to be smarter with your money, or to take the opportunity to have a fallback. Because it's Vince Carter went back and got his college degree while he was still playing basketball. You know what I mean? So I believe that's a story they could tell them. I think Paul Gasol, which is really weird because he's a 7'1" guy, but he's like a pediatrician or something. So it's just like, okay, you obviously had basketball. Basketball is fun. You love the sport, you play hard, but there you also feel like there's a calling for you, a different calling. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe I believe Maverick's own story could further illustrate that. Like, hey, I love to play ball. I played D1 ball, but I realized that wasn't really my calling. This is what I was really here for. And as you can see, it's turned out pretty well.
Yes. Um, but a lot of people, if you're looking at this, you're like, okay, he was just a guy that was with LeBron, and it's a lot of negativity stuff that I even found. It was just like, well, he rode on LeBron's coattail to get where he was at.
Of course, but again, like I said, when they say LeBron empowers, it does sound like he just was like, yo, I got a homie on the couch that ain't doing nothing. Go do this for me. That's what it kind of comes off as. But
True,
like
but
when you
my thing,
actually stop
yeah,
to do some research, you realize, yeah, you know what I mean.
it wasn't like
Had
that.
his own, he had his own merits that he could have. I mean, in a sense, his thirst for knowledge is what made LeBron empower him to a degree.
Right. And a lot of people, like how you said, sell that as a shortcoming and they just look at it, oh, well, he's attached to LeBron. LeBron said, yo, he go do that. You good. Like a flunky. Nah. What the research and broken down to is like how you said, Mav was doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was well on his way. But, hey, he took out an olive branch. He grabbed a hold of it. Hey, I could have got here on my own, but now I'm here. Let's keep this thing rolling. And a lot of people fail to see that. And it's like how you said, his thirst for knowledge, he saw it. He broke it down. Let's go.
I mean, you gotta explain that. You kind of do gotta explain that to people. Like you said, he's the kind of the mysterious one of the group. Aside from Randy Mims, I'm not exactly sure. I don't really know much about him, but again, Rich Paul is kind of like when you think LeBron's guy, you think Maverick Carter, but you're not really. It's like you say, okay, Rich Paul's the agent. You know what Rich Paul does. You know what I mean? When you think of LeBron's guys, or as Pat Riley kind of offended them by saying the posse, okay? But you know what Rich Paul does. Randy Mims, I wasn't even sure who he was. I don't even know what he does. But it is like, okay, there's Rich Paul, and it's like, okay, so what do you? You're the investor to a degree. You handle the marketing, the investment aspect of it. Okay, well, a lot of that does kind of happen a little bit behind the scenes. You know what I mean? A lot of that's not made to be flashy because you don't necessarily want to bring negative attention towards the business you're trying to conduct. But, like you said, we're not talking about a guy who was just, sitting at home one day waiting to get a phone call and then got the call of a lifetime. The chance he was given, bottom line, he earned. I mean, did it help the fact that the person giving him the chance is somebody he knew from the way back? Yeah, of course, sure. But, it's the things about him that made LeBron say, hey, I'm going to give him a chance. So that's where we are. And that's where, from there, it's a beautiful story. You guys already all know the rest.
Right. But even though, if you look at it from the internet not really saying his birthday to a lot of the stuff done behind the scenes, people forget the man has still been up on front of a lot of these deals, but a lot of them you really don't know, or to say, oh, well, how did that go about? You know what I'm saying? Or how did that happen? It's a lot of people that don't get a lot of credit to do a lot of the work behind the scenes, as we say. And
Mm.
for Maverick Carter, I give props on this. For your thirst of knowledge, for you to go out and to do all these researches with these companies and double check the angles and everything else, you have brought a key position and key things to light to where it's not looked at anymore. If, oh, well, he's the mega superstar. I can't do nothing unless I'm told by the mega superstar or told how to do this. Nah, Mavericks changed that to listen. I go do some of the research, such and such. I bring it back to him. This is how this is. But my hard work and due diligence, people recognize me of saying, oh, okay, this is what he does. This is how he handles it. This is how he conducts himself. Even though per se, he's not the major superstar. Mav is from different set of spotlight per se. You know, it's like how you said, LeBron, of course, he can't go nowhere. Nowhere, you know. People gonna recognize. Rich Paul is in the sports community. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
People know.
Yeah, I'm glad you say sports community, because it does reach further than basketball. Clutch sports reach further than basketball.
Yeah. The sports community, people know, you know, but they also know if they see him, they know who he's representing and what part of that stable. That's why I say he's more than what people think. Not to throw this pun out there, he's like a transformer, more to meets the eye. And people need to look at that and realize give credit when credit is due. It's not always the person up front that makes this thing move and drive along. And the other thing that I've noticed, though, Mr. Carter came from humble beginnings. He came from having so much of the money because, you know, he didn't went on record. His dad was a drug dealer. He went from they had the money until dad got locked up, and then mom had to figure it out, and then they was wishing, and then it's like how you said, he took it upon himself to get. No one is going to hand you a D1 scholarship unless you go put the work in yourself.
But that's where I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, going to play ball at that point was a way out. You know what I mean? But when him and Mr. Merritt crossed paths, you know what I mean? His natural curiosity, playing ball became more, instead of a way out, it became, like I said, like the means to an end.
Right. And he looked at it more as, and this is where Magic Johnson gave him credit. He looked at sports as more as a way how it can be conducted as a business. You can play and still be passionate about what you love, but it can help you navigate, or like how you said, network. It can help your network way better to navigate some of these waters, because it's just like how Mr. Carter has said. If people did not know who LeBron James was or anything else, it would be a little bit harder for them. It would be a little bit harder for them to knock down some of these doors and bust open a lot of these barriers of what they had. But
trust me, you not getting them phone calls if you and, you know, some other people's circles and affiliated with you're not getting them phone calls like Maverick.
Trust me, which me and you know ourselves, you have to be very aware of how your circle run and who you don't talk to. And luckily they learned that early, like way early in the game, to understand how this works, because it's not easy once again, if you don't have a
Well,
platform, I'm not saying that you can't get there. No means that. I'm not saying that you can't, but if you already have that established platform, you can go a little bit further, or or reach that point a little bit quicker than people who don't.
mhm.
It's hard. It's harder for you if you're doing it from here. I'm not saying it's going to be either easy or either way, because you still got to get your name out there and justify it. But I look at it the way how that man thinks. He thinks like a chess player. He ain't
Mhm.
thinking checkers. He's thinking chess. He's constantly looking 5 to 7 moves ahead. And with his hindsight and due diligence that he does, it has, like how you said, he ain't searching for the money. He's not,
Mm-mm.
you know, looking off of that. He's trying to help others. And the money is just coming. It's coming with
Yes.
that. So I
But with
will,
that being said, he's building value. Even if it's within, to a degree within himself, he's becoming valuable.
yeah.
That
And
value is what's bringing the money to him.
and it's just like how the talk with him and Magic Johnson said, and how we covered. Magic Johnson went from being rich to being wealthy. Maverick
Maverick Carter
Carter,
didn't have that rich to start. He didn't have
mm,
that get those game checks, that NBA
mm,
salary.
yeah, he didn't have that. He went from intern and a product of Nike to, hey, I can help him give my influence, and we can keep doing it and flipping it and flipping it and flipping it, and then we can empower more people. And now it's came. So I give his just dues about it, even though a lot of things of the research, even trying to figure out how this man did what he did, is
And
very
he was given
hard
a
to
chance.
obtain. Yeah,
He was given a chance.
it,
Even
it, it,
even even if you really want to be totally truthful with it, even with even not even by LeBron. You know what I mean? It was kind of more like by Lynn Merrick. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
guy who put him on the path, the guy who put him on the path to finances. It's that guy, the guy that helped him basically become the intern at Nike, which is where all of this started. He was literally just given a chance.
oh yeah, and he took that chance and he's ran with it. And
Hey
I
man,
can
he earned
honestly
it.
say, oh yeah, hard work pays off. And the way I see it, Mr. Maverick Carter is all the time all in. It
Yes,
ain't no
without question.
ifs or ands about it. He's all in at all times. And I will honestly say, one remarkable piece of research to learn about this man. I'm highly intrigued to see where everything else has went and how it is with it. But what because I was one of them guys. Like, okay, um, LeBron helped this guy out, and he done ran with it. I did not know the backstory until doing all the lovely research on this guy. But he's steadily changing. Like how I said
Mhm.
before, if you don't know who LRMR is,
You will soon.
you will soon, because they're moving more than just in sports entertainment and in sports and everything else. They moving big, period. No ifs, no ands. They are moving big, period. And it's coming. It's
Without a
coming.
question,
And
man.
it's been steadily showing and coming.
And it
So
look like it's going in the right direction. So
oh yeah. And that's one thing that I could honestly say. Um, hey, If you're trying to constantly do and move and make sure things happen, this will be the ground set match of how to do that.
Pretty much.
And then their blueprint plan, yeah, follow. Learn about it and follow. The same way a lot of people followed Master P's plan. And I know Jay-Z did, and he tweaked it. And look where he's at.
Or they could just
LeBron,
learn about us and follow us.
Oh yeah. Because our blueprint plan is it's been a rocky one, but it's going. And I will tell anyone about it. Listen here, this road for me and this man to my left or right, whichever way you're facing on the screen, has been a unique road, and it's not easy. it is honestly, it is not easy. It takes a lot of hours, a lot of hard work, a lot of closed doors in your face, a lot of I'll put it to you this way.
It's rough out
me
here.
And him, yes, it's very rough. And me and Mr. Blackman over there, we have learned the word no does not actually mean no. It means you go back to the drawing board and you bust your butt a little bit harder and you come back. That still may not get you a yes, but it gets you one step closer, because
this is true.
What we have learned is this: failure does not mean that you failed. Failure is just another thing on the checklist to success, and you got to go through the failing part to reach the success. And since we constantly have went through the failure part, we know the success part is coming. And we like to thank everybody, from if you're people that's been rocking with us from day one, to the new subscriber. If you or new listener, subscriber, if you've clicked or smashed that like button and subscribe, we thank every single yes, and we honestly thank every single one of you, because y'all have made it one remarkable ride. But on another note, since this mini series has went so well, we have decided that we will change it into just a series, because a lot of these people didn't know the background of it. From Magic Johnson to Chris Gardner, a lot of people just thought the pursuit of happiness, he just happened. Okay, it just happened. No, it didn't just happen. And a bit more to it than that. Oh yes, and for the ladies, the women entrepreneurs, we have not forgot. We're weeding through and finding some top key choices of who is to get this done. But we will do this due diligence. As always, me and Black want to thank y'all for tuning in and watching Clockwise Thoughts. But I will say this, quick shout out. I would like to say happy birthday to my mom, who turned 68 today. Thank God, God willing, and everything else. I do wish her many more. Yes, I wish her many more. And for Black has always been there. I can't never thank this man enough, because he do a lot. If y'all honestly seen what he do behind the scenes and how much I blow up his phone, he probably get annoyed with me.
Running. No. I get annoyed more with the stuff that I have to do than you. I'd rather be dealing with you than the other stuff I got to do.
It's been one heck of a ride so far.
No, it ain't even been because we still on it.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
No,
You
we
know, so
yeah
so so
we're having
far,
fun.
so far this has been fun. But the learning experience from this alone,
Oh well, yeah,
and
everything you
and,
got to
and then
learn from.
I did a lot of time in the military. I made a career. This here, eh,
Yeah,
but no. As always, we like to tell you, hopefully, this gave you a little food for thought, clockwise
definitely.
thoughts, and we will catch you next time. Peace.
See you later, everybody. Thanks.